The ship Stellar Talon floated in the darkness of space. Its black hull was hard to see against the stars. 5 purple lights glowed along its side, showing it was ready for battle. Inside the ship, Captain Tae-yun sat in his command chair. His gray skin was covered in old scars. Each scar told the story of a dangerous hunt. He looked at the screen in front of him, studying the planet below. "Are the cages secure?" he asked, not looking away from the screen. Ju-woo checked her tablet and nodded. "All 6 Rigelian acid beasts are locked down. The stasis fields are at full power." She smiled, showing her sharp teeth. "These beasts will bring us a fortune, Captain." Tae-hyun finally turned away from the screen. His yellow eyes moved across the bridge, looking at each member of his crew. They were the best hunters in the galaxy. Haesung sat at the pilot station, her 4-fingered hands moving quickly over the controls. She had saved them many times with her amazing flying skills. Some people said she could see the future, but Tae-hyun knew she was just that good. Do-hyun stood near the back, taking samples from one of the acid beasts. His large eyes blinked as he worked. No one knew more about alien creatures than him. He could find the weakness in any species. Yoon-ha cleaned her weapons at her station. Half of her body was machine, stronger than any natural being. She had killed creatures 3 times her size with her bare hands. They were the perfect hunting team. For 10 years, they had captured the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. No one else could do what they did. "Captain," called Haesung from the pilot's seat. "We're getting a message. It's encrypted." Tae-hyun frowned. "Who knows our location?" "No one should," said Ju-woo, moving to check the security systems. "Our path was hidden." "Play the message," ordered Tae-hyun. A hologram appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed only a shadow, no clear face or body. "Greetings, hunters of the Stellar Talon *," said the shadow. Its voice was deep and changed by technology. "Your skills are known throughout the galaxy. I have a job that requires the best." Tae-hyun crossed his arms. "We're already on a job." "I will pay triple your normal rate," said the shadow. The crew looked at each other. Triple the normal rate was an enormous amount of money. "What is the target?" asked Tae-hyun. "I cannot say in an open message, even encrypted. Meet me at Nexus Prime Station in 3 days. Come alone." The hologram disappeared. Do-hyun walked to the center of the bridge. "It could be a trap." "Everything could be a trap," said Yoon-ha, putting her weapons back together without looking. "That's why we're always ready." Tae-hyun thought for a moment. "Set course for Nexus Prime. We'll deliver the acid beasts to the Federation first." "Do you trust this mystery client?" asked Ju-woo. "No," said Tae-hyun, "but I trust our abilities. We have hunted the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. We have faced death hundreds of times and always won." He stood up and walked to the front window, looking out at the stars. "Whatever this new hunt is, we will succeed. We always do." The ship turned, its engines glowing brighter as it accelerated. The Stellar Talon disappeared into the darkness of space, heading toward its next challenge. None of them knew that this hunt would be different. None of them knew they were about to face an enemy unlike any they had encountered before. None of them knew about humans. Nexus Prime was the biggest space station in this part of the galaxy. It looked like a giant metal wheel spinning slowly in space. Thousands of ships came and went each day. The Stellar Talon docked at the far end of the station, away from busy areas. Captain Tae-hyun wanted privacy. He didn't like crowds. "Remember," Tae-hyun said to his crew as they walked through the station, "we say nothing about this meeting to anyone." The halls of Nexus Prime were full of beings from 100 different worlds. Some had 6 legs. Some had no legs at all. Some were made of gas and floated in special containers. The crew followed a map on Ju-woo's tablet. It led them to a small door in a quiet part of the station. Yoon-ha checked her weapons before Tae-hyun knocked on the door. The door slid open. A tall figure stood in the shadows. "Enter," said a deep voice. Inside was a small room with one table and 6 chairs. The walls were black metal with no windows. The tall figure walked to the far side of the table and turned on a light. Now they could see him clearly. He had blue skin and white hair tied back tightly. His eyes were solid black with no pupils. "I am Sunwoo," he said. "I work for the Galactic Federation." Taehyun's eyes narrowed. "The Federation doesn't hire private hunters." Sunwoo smiled. "This is a special case. Please, sit." The crew sat down carefully. Haesung kept her eyes on the door. Do-yeon studied Sunwoo with curiosity. Yoonha kept her hand near her gun. Sunwoo placed a small disc on the table. It projected a hologram of a blue and green planet. "This is planet XR7729, said Sunwoo. "It was discovered 3 months ago in a part of space we haven't fully explored." The hologram zoomed in to show forests, mountains, and oceans. "Our first drones found interesting life forms there," continued Sunwoo. "Animals with great strength and adaptability. The Federation wants samples for study." "If you have drones there, why do you need us?" asked Juwoo. Sunwoo's face darkened. 3 drone missions have gone to the planet. None have returned. The room was silent for a moment. "What happened to them?" asked Do-yeon. "We don't know," said Sunwoo. "They stopped sending signals shortly after landing." Taehyun leaned forward. "You want us to find out what happened to your drones?" "No," said Sunwoo. "I want you to capture the apex predators of this planet. Bring them back alive. The Federation will pay triple your normal rate, as promised." Do-yeon raised his hand. "We need more information. What is the gravity of the planet? The air? The temperature? What kind of creatures live there? How big are they?" Sunwoo pushed a small data card across the table. "This has the basic information. Not much, I'm afraid. As I said, our drones didn't last long." Captain Taehyun took the card. "Why is the Federation so interested in this planet?" Sunwoo's face showed nothing. "That information is classified." "We're risking our lives," said Yoonha. "We deserve to know." "You're being paid very well for that risk," said Sunwoo coldly. "Do you want the job or not?" Taehyun looked at his crew. Juwoo nodded slightly. She wanted the money. Do-yeon looked worried but curious. Haesung shrugged. Yoonha simply checked her weapons again. "We'll take it," said Taehyun. "Send the coordinates to our ship." Sunwoo smiled. "Excellent. One more thing. This mission is top secret. Tell no one where you're going." As they left the room, Do-yeon whispered to Taehyun, "Captain, something feels wrong about this." Taehyun nodded. "I know, but we've faced danger before. Whatever is on that planet, we can handle it." They didn't know it then, but they were very, very wrong. The *Stellar Talon* moved through the emptiness of space. Its engines hummed quietly. Stars stretched into long lines as the ship traveled faster than light. Inside, the mood was tense. Captain Taehyun stood at the main window, looking at nothing. The journey to planet XR7729 would take 3 weeks. "Captain," called Do-yeon from his research station. "I found something strange." Taehyun walked over. Do-yeon was looking at the data card from Sunwoo. "Look here," said Do-yeon, pointing at the screen. "Hidden in the code. These aren't just drone missions that went missing." "What do you mean?" asked Taehyun. "The equipment lists. Too much for simple drones. These were full capture teams, like us." Taehyun's face darkened. "Sunwoo lied to us." "There's more," said Do-yeon. "The Federation marked this planet as maximum danger. That's the highest rating." In another part of the ship, Haesung sat at her controls. She frowned as she looked at her screens. "Juwoo," she called. "Come look at this." Juwoo walked over. "What is it?" "Signals from the planet. Not natural. Not like stars or gas." Haesung pointed at wavy lines on her screen. "These look like messages." "From the Federation drones?" asked Juwoo. "No," said Haesung. Too complex. Too organized. Jiwoo's eyes widened. You mean there might be intelligent life on this planet? Maybe, said Haisung. But Sunwoo didn't say anything about that. That night, in her sleeping pod, Jiwoo had a dream. She was in a dark forest. Trees taller than buildings surrounded her. She could feel eyes watching her. Something was hunting her. Something that knew the forest better than she did. She woke up covered in sweat. Days passed. The ship got closer to XR 7729. The crew studied the limited information they had. They prepared their capture equipment and weapons. We need a plan, said Tae-yun at their meeting on the 18th day. We know almost nothing about this planet. The air is breathable, said Do-yun. Gravity is slightly stronger than standard. Temperature varies from very cold to very hot depending on location. What about life forms? Asked Yuna, checking her stun gun. Many different types, said Do-yun. The data shows thousands of species, but it's not clear which ones are the apex predators Sunwoo wants. We should set up a hidden camp, said Jiwoo. Watch for a few days before we try to capture anything. Tae-yun nodded. Good idea. Haisung, can you find us a quiet landing spot? Already done, said Haisung. There's a forest area with mountains nearby. Good cover. Not many signals from that area. On the 21st day, the ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Planet XR 7729 filled their view screen. It was beautiful. Blue oceans covered most of it. Green and brown land made shapes across the blue. White clouds swirled in the atmosphere. Rare type, said Do-yun quietly. Less than 1 in 10,000 planets looks like this. Perfect balance of water and land. Perfect for life, said Jiwoo. Perfect for predators, added Yuna. Captain Tae-yun studied the planet carefully. In all his years of hunting, he had never felt so uncertain. We go in quiet, he decided. Land on the night side. Set up camp where we can't be seen. Watch and learn before we make any moves. The stellar Talon circled the planet, staying high enough to avoid detection. When it reached the dark side, Haisung guided it down slowly. As they entered the atmosphere, something beeped on Haisung's control panel. What's that? Asked Tae-yun. Haisung looked confused. For a second, I thought, something scanned us. From the planet? Asked Jiwoo, alarmed. Maybe just atmospheric interference, said Haisung, but she didn't sound convinced. The ship descended through clouds toward the dark forest below. None of them knew they were already being watched. The stellar Talon landed in a small clearing surrounded by tall trees. The ship's outer skin changed color to match the forest. Soon it was hard to see even from a few steps away. Perfect landing, said Captain Tae-yun to Haisung. No one will find us here. The crew set up their base camp. They put sensors in the trees to watch for movement. They sent small flying cameras to look at the area around them. 3 days, said Tae-yun. We watch for 3 days. Learn what lives here. Then we make a plan. The first day passed quietly. The crew saw many small animals. Birds flew above the trees. Small furry creatures ran on the ground. Larger animals walked between the trees. So much life, said Do-yun, excited. I've never seen so many different species on one planet. The second day, they saw something strange. Haisung spotted it first on the camera feeds. Look, she said, pointing at the screen. A straight line through the forest. It was a path, not made by animals. Too straight, too clear. Something intelligent made this, said Jiwoo. Sunwoo never mentioned intelligent life, said Yuna, frowning. The third day, Tae-yun made a decision. Jiwoo, Yuna, follow that path. See where it goes. Stay hidden. Jiwoo and Yuna moved through the forest quietly. They wore suits that changed color like the stellar Talon helping them blend in with the trees. They carried stun weapons and cameras. After walking for an hour, they heard sounds ahead. They crouched behind bushes and looked through the leaves. Two creatures stood in a small open area. They walked on two legs. They had no fur except on top of their heads. They wore coverings over their bodies. "Bipeds," whispered Jiwoo, "like the Zentari species." "But different," said Yuna. "Look at how they move." The two bipeds were doing something with long sticks they carried. They put the sticks to their shoulders and pointed them. "Are those weapons?" asked Jiwoo. "Primitive ones," said Yuna. "Just tubes with small projectiles." Jiwoo used her camera to send images back to the ship. In her ear, she heard Do-hyun's voice. "Amazing. A pre-spaceflight species. They haven't developed energy weapons yet." The two bipeds talked to each other. Jiwoo and Yuna couldn't understand their words. "Let's record their language," said Jiwoo. "The ship's computer can translate it." Suddenly, a loud roar came from the trees nearby. The two bipeds turned quickly, raising their stick weapons. A massive animal burst from the trees. It had thick brown fur, sharp teeth, and huge claws. It stood on its back legs, twice as tall as the bipeds. "That must be what Sun Woo wants," whispered Yuna. "An apex predator." Jiwoo expected the bipeds to run away. Instead, they stood their ground. The sticks in their hands made loud bangs. The big animal jerked as small objects hit it. Blood appeared on the animal's chest. It roared again, angry and hurt. It charged at the bipeds. One of the bipeds rolled to the side. The other stood still, aiming carefully. The stick made another loud bang. The big animal stopped suddenly. It fell forward onto the ground. It didn't move again. "Impossible," whispered Yuna. "Those primitive weapons killed it so easily." The two bipeds walked to the dead animal. They talked and laughed. They didn't seem scared at all. Jiwoo and Yuna moved quietly back through the forest to the ship. They had much to report. "Captain," said Jiwoo when they returned, "we found two types of creatures, a large predator and a bipedal species with tools and weapons." "Which ones does the Federation want?" asked Tae-hyun. "I think," said Do-hyun slowly, looking at the images again, "they want the bipeds." "Why?" asked Haesung. The big animal seemed more dangerous. "No," said Yuna, shaking her head. "The bipeds killed it without fear. They are the real apex predators of this planet." Tae-hyun looked at the images of the two bipeds. They looked so small, so soft, but they had killed a monster without breaking a sweat. "Tomorrow," he said, "we capture one of these bipeds for study." The crew of the Stellar Talon gathered around the table. They studied images of the bipeds on their screens. "This one lives alone," said Jiwoo, pointing to a small building at the edge of a larger group of buildings. "The others call him Jeonhwa. He goes into the forest alone every morning." "Perfect target," said Captain Tae-hyun. "We take him when he's far from the others." Do-hyun held up a small gun. "I've prepared the sleep darts. Triple strength, just to be safe." The next morning, they set their trap. They hid near the path Jeonhwa used every day. Yuna and Tae-hyun would grab him. Do-hyun would use the sleep dart. Jiwoo and Haesung waited at the ship with a cage ready. They didn't wait long. Jeonhwa walked down the path, carrying one of the stick weapons and a small bag. He was whistling a tune. "Now," whispered Tae-hyun. Yuna jumped out and grabbed Jeonhwa's arms. Do-hyun shot the sleep dart into his neck. Tae-hyun moved to help Yuna hold him. But something went wrong. Jeonhwa didn't fall asleep. His eyes went wide, then narrowed. He yelled words they didn't understand. With strength that surprised them all, he broke free from Yuna's grip. He swung his bag, hitting Tae-hyun in the head. Then he ran. "After him," shouted Tae-hyun. Yuna chased Jeonhwa through the trees. She was faster, but he knew the forest better. He jumped over fallen trees and ducked under branches without slowing down. "Why isn't he asleep?" Do-hyun asked, running behind them. That dart had enough drug to put a Krell beast to sleep. Jeonhwa suddenly stopped running. He turned and raised his stick weapon. It made a loud bang. Something hit the tree next to Yunha's head. "He's shooting at us." Yunha ducked behind a tree. Jungwood fired again, then disappeared into the thick forest. The hunters returned to their ship, confused and angry. "How did he fight off the sleep drug?" asked Taeyun, holding a cold pack to his head where Jungwoo had hit him. "I don't know," said Doyun. "His body must process chemicals differently than other species we know." "And he was strong," said Yuna, looking at her arm where Jungwoo had broken her grip. "Stronger than he looked." Haesung called from the front of the ship, "Captain, we have a problem." They all went to look at her screens. Red lights flashed on the display. "Our communications are being blocked," said Haesung. "I can't send messages to anyone." "Could it be natural?" asked Juwoo. "Something in the atmosphere." "No," said Haesung. "This is deliberate. Someone is jamming our signals." Captain Taeyun's face darkened. "Check the ship for tracking devices." They searched the outside of the stellar Talon asterisk. Under one wing, Yunha found a small metal object that didn't belong there. "A tracker," she said, crushing it in her hand. "They know where we are." Back inside, Dohyun made another discovery. He had been studying the signals from the Bite settlements. "Captain," he said, his voice shaking a little. "These aren't primitive pre-space settlements. They're connected to a huge network that covers the whole planet." He showed them a map on his screen. Thousands of points of light covered the planet, all connected by lines. "They're talking to each other all the time, sharing information instantly." "But their weapons are so simple," said Juwoo. "Just metal tubes with explosive powder." "I think," said Dohyun slowly, "they're hiding their true technology level. At least in some places." Captain Taeyun paced the bridge. In all his years of hunting, no prey had ever surprised him like this. No prey had ever fought back so effectively. It made him angry. It made him determined. "We need a new plan," he said. "We underestimated them. We won't make that mistake again." "What if we can't capture them?" asked Haesung quietly. Taeyun looked at her sharply. "We have never failed a hunt. We will not fail this one." Outside the ship, hidden cameras watched them. Hidden microphones listened to their words. The hunters didn't know it yet, but they had woken a sleeping giant. "We need a better plan," said Captain Taeyun. 3 days had passed since their failed attempt to capture Jongwa. Dohyun pointed to a map on the big screen. "I found a small building in the forest. Only 4 bites work there. They study plants and animals. It would be easier to take one from there." "What about weapons?" asked Yuna, cleaning her stun gun. "I've seen no heavy weapons," said Juwoo. "Just the small shooting sticks." Taeyun nodded. "We'll go tonight. All of us except Haesung. She stays with the ship, ready for a quick escape if needed." That night, the 4 hunters moved through the dark forest. They wore black suits that hid them in the shadows. They carried stronger weapons this time. "There it is," whispered Dohyun, pointing ahead. The small building sat in a clearing. Light came from its windows. One bite walked around outside, looking at the sky. "Remember," said Taeyun, "we need one alive and unhurt." They spread out, moving to surround the building. Taeyun gave the signal, and they started to move in. Suddenly, Yuma stopped. She looked at the ground, confused. "Captain," she said into her communicator, "something's wrong. The ground looks." Before she could finish, the earth under her feet disappeared. She fell into a deep hole hidden by fake grass and leaves. At the same moment, bright lights flashed on all around them. The forest lit up like day. A loud voice spoke words they couldn't understand. "It's a trap," shouted Taeyun. Figures rose from the ground all around them. Bipeds wearing green and brown clothes that matched the forest. They had been lying still, covered in leaves and dirt, impossible to see. "Fall back," ordered Taeyun. "Back to the ship." They turned to run, but more bipeds appeared behind them. They were surrounded. One biped stepped forward. He wore different clothes than the others. He spoke into a small device, and his words came out in the hunter's language. "Stop where you are. Drop your weapons. You are surrounded." "Who are you?" demanded Tae-yun, not lowering his weapon. "Commander Yoongi, Earth Defense Force," said the biped. "We've been tracking you since you entered our atmosphere." More bipeds appeared. These wore black suits that looked more advanced than the green ones. They carried weapons that didn't look primitive at all. "Those aren't powder weapons," said Do-yun, his voice full of fear. One of the black-suited bipeds fired. A blue light shot from his weapon. It hit Do-yun in the chest. He fell to the ground, not moving. "Do-yun." Ju-woo tried to run to him. "He's alive," said Commander Yoongi. "Just unconscious. That's more than you planned for us, isn't it?" Tae-yun looked around. There were at least 30 bipeds now, all with advanced weapons pointed at them. "Run," he shouted. He fired his own weapon at the ground, creating a cloud of smoke. In the confusion, Tae-yun, Ju-woo, and Yoonha ran in different directions. Weapons fired behind them. Blue lights flew past them. Yoonha screamed as one hit her leg. She fell but kept crawling. Tae-yun grabbed her arm. "Come on." Together, they escaped into the trees. Ju-woo was somewhere ahead of them. They could hear the bipeds chasing them, but they knew how to hide. Hours later, they'd made it back to the ship. Ju-woo was already there, a burn mark on her shoulder where one of the blue lights had grazed her. "Haesung, take off now," ordered Tae-yun. "Get us to orbit." "What about Do-yun?" asked Haesung, starting the engines. "They took him," said Tae-yun. His face was hard with anger and something new. Fear. As the ship rose through the trees, blue lights shot up from below. One hit the ship's side, making it shake. "Those aren't primitive weapons," said Yoonha, holding her injured leg. "Those are energy weapons. Advanced ones." "They tricked us," said Ju-woo. "They let us think they were simple. They were watching us all along." The stellar Talon broke through the clouds, racing for space. For the first time in their lives, the legendary hunters knew what it felt like to be prey. The stellar Talon hid behind one of the small moons orbiting planet XR 7729. The ship's engines were running at minimum power. Most lights inside were off to save energy. In the medical bay, Yoonha lay on a table while Ju-woo treated her injured leg. "How bad is it?" asked Captain Tae-yun from the doorway. "The energy weapon burned through her armor," said Ju-woo. "But she'll heal." Yoonha winced as Ju-woo applied medicine to the burn. "I've had worse." Tae-yun nodded and walked to the bridge. Haesung sat at her controls, watching the screens carefully. "Any sign of pursuit?" asked Tae-yun. "No ships following us yet," said Haesung. "But I'm picking up a lot of activity on the planet. They're looking for us." Tae-yun looked at the planet through the window. It looked so peaceful from up here, blue and green and white. Hard to believe such dangerous creatures lived there. "Can we contact the Federation? Tell them what happened?" Haesung shook her head. "Still blocked. They're jamming all our long-range communications." A light flashed on the control panel. A strange signal was coming in. "What's that?" asked Tae-yun. Haesung touched some buttons. It's from Do-yun. They're letting him contact us." She put the signal on the main screen. Do-yun's face appeared. He looked unhurt but worried. "Captain," he said, "can you hear me?" "Do-yun," said Tae-yun. "Are you all right? Have they heard you?" "No, I'm fine. They're treating me well." Do-yun looked to the side, as if someone was standing next to him, but out of view. "They want me to tell you something. Something important." Ju-woo and Yoonha came to the bridge, Yoonha limping slightly. "What is it?" asked Tae-yun. Do-yun took a deep breath. "The bipeds. They're called humans. They're not a new species. The Federation has known about them for centuries." Silence filled the bridge. The crew looked at each other in confusion. "What do you mean?" asked Ju-woo. Sun Wu said they just discovered this planet. He lied, said Do Yun. This planet is Earth. It's been in Federation records for over 300 years, but it's under quarantine. Quarantine? Asked Yuna. Why? Because humans are dangerous, said Do Yun. More dangerous than any species we've ever encountered. Do Yun explained that humans evolved differently than most intelligent species in the galaxy. Most species developed special skills. The Zentari could see in the dark. The Krell had great strength. The Moxians could breathe underwater. But humans didn't specialize. They adapted to everything. They could live in hot deserts or frozen mountains. They could eat almost any food. They could learn any skill. They're not the strongest or fastest, said Do Yun, but they never give up. They keep trying, keep learning, keep improving. He told them that centuries ago, other alien species had tried to conquer Earth. All of them failed. The humans took their technology, learned how it worked, and made it better. The Federation decided humans were too dangerous to join galactic society, said Do Yun. They built jammers around the solar system to block human signals from reaching space. They made the planet look boring on star maps. But why did Sun Wu send us here? Asked Taehyun. Do Yun looked sad. Some in the Federation want to use humans as weapons against their enemies. Sun Wu works for them. They want human specimens to study, to control. They sent us here to die, said Yuna angrily. No, said Do Yun. They thought your hunting skills would let you capture humans without starting a war. They were wrong. Commander Yoongi walked into view on the screen. He looked directly at Taehyun. Your Federation has kept us prisoner on our own planet, he said. We want to know why, and we want our freedom. Taehyun didn't know what to say. Everything he thought he knew was wrong. Suddenly, Haisung called out, Captain, multiple ships entering the system. Federation ships. Do Yun's face showed fear. They're coming to clean up their mistake. They'll destroy your ship and bomb the human cities to hide what happened. Taehyun looked at his injured crew, then back at the screen. For the first time in his life, he didn't know what to do. Captain Taehyun stared at the screen. Do Yun's worried face looked back at him. Behind him, Commander Yoongi waited for an answer. I need to speak with my crew, said Taehyun finally. Yoongi nodded. 5 minutes. Then we need your answer. The screen went dark. Taehyun turned to his crew. What do we do? Asked Haisung. The Federation ships will be here in 20 minutes. Jumu paced the bridge, her hands clenched into fists. We should complete our mission, capture some humans, and leave. The Federation will protect us. Will they? Asked Yuna from where she sat, holding her injured leg. They sent us here without telling us the truth. They don't care if we live or die. Taehyun walked to the window and looked down at the blue planet. He had never failed a hunt before, but he had never been lied to like this either. The humans haven't killed Do Yun, he said quietly. They could have killed us all, but they didn't. They're still dangerous, said Juwoo. You saw their weapons. Yes, said Taehyun, but they used them to defend themselves, just like we would. He thought about his people, the Kurtak. They believed that honor was the most important thing in life. More important than money, more important than success, even more important than life itself. Where was the honor in helping the Federation trap a species on their own planet? Where was the honor in capturing people who just wanted freedom? We've been hunting the wrong prey, said Taehyun. The others looked at him in surprise. What do you mean? Asked Haisung. Sun Wu and his people. They're the real monsters. They lied to us. They've been lying to everyone. Juwoo shook her head. If we turn against the Federation, we'll never work again. We'll be hunted ourselves. Maybe, said Taehyun, but I would rather be hunted than live without honor. Yuna stood up, ignoring the pain in her leg. I'm with the captain. We fight. Haisung nodded slowly. Me too. They all looked at Juwoo. She sighed and then nodded. Fine. But if we die, I'm going to be very angry with all of you. Taehyun almost smiled. He touched the control panel, and Do-hyun's face appeared again. "We've made our decision," said Taehyun. "We will help you." Commander Yoongi stepped forward. "Good. We need to move quickly. The Federation ships will try to destroy all evidence, including your ship." "What's your plan?" asked Taehyun. "We bring you down to Earth," said Yoongi. "You tell us everything you know about the Federation's defenses. We prepare for what comes next." "And Do-hyun, he stays with us for now. Insurance." Taehyun nodded. It was what he would have done. "Wait," said a new voice. A human woman stepped into view beside Yoongi. "I have a better idea." "This is Dr. Minji," said Yoongi, "our top scientist." Minji looked at Taehyun through the screen. "The Federation thinks you're still hunting us, right? Let's use that." "How?" asked Taehyun. "Set a trap," said Minji. "Make them think you've captured humans. When they come to collect, we'll be waiting." It was a good plan. A hunter's plan. Taehyun found himself respecting these humans more with each passing minute. But before they could discuss details, Haesung called out in alarm. "Captain, more ships entering the system, at least 6 of them." On another screen, they could see the ships. They were large and heavily armed. Federation enforcement vessels. "They're earlier than expected," said Yoongi, his face grim. "They're sending us a message," said Haesung. "Audio only." A cold voice filled the bridge. "Attention hunting vessel * stellar talon *. This is Admiral Kimwon of the Galactic Federation Enforcement Division. You have violated quarantine protocols. Prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will result in immediate destruction of your vessel." Taehyun looked at his crew, then at the humans on the screen. Time had run out. They needed to choose a side. And they needed to do it now. "We need to buy time," said Captain Taehyun. His mind was racing, searching for a plan. "Answer them," he told Haesung. "Tell them our engines are damaged. We need 30 minutes to prepare for boarding." Haesung sent the message. The Federation ships slowed their approach. On the screen, Commander Yoongi nodded with approval. "Good thinking. We need time to position our ships." "Your ships?" asked Juwoo. "What ships?" "We've been building them in secret," said Minji, "using pieces of technology we've collected over the years. They're not as advanced as Federation ships, but we have something better." "What's that?" asked Yuna. "Surprise," said Yoongi with a small smile. "And human creativity." Minji leaned closer to the screen. "Captain Taehyun, can your ship still fly?" "Yes," said Taehyun. "We took some damage, but all systems are working." "Good. Here's what we're going to do." 25 minutes later, the stellar talon moved slowly out from behind the moon. It headed toward the Federation ships. Inside, Taehyun sat in the captain's chair, his face set with determination. "All systems ready?" he asked. "Ready," said Haesung from the pilot's seat. "Ready," said Juwoo, checking the weapons. "Ready," said Yuna, standing by the airlock despite her injured leg. The largest Federation ship sent them a message. "Hunting vessel * stellar talon *. Maintain your course. Prepare to be boarded." "We're ready for boarding, Admiral," replied Taehyun. "We have specimens to transfer to your ships." There was a pause before the Admiral replied. "What specimens?" "Human specimens," said Taehyun. "We completed our mission. We captured 3 humans alive." This was the lie they had planned. The Federation ships would be eager to get the humans. They would let the * stellar talon * come close. The Federation ships moved into position around them. The largest ship opened its docking bay. "Approach slowly," ordered the Admiral. Haesung guided the ship toward the open bay. When they were close, Taehyun gave the signal. "Now." Haesung pushed the engines to full power. The * stellar talon * shot forward, but not into the docking bay. Instead, It flew up and over the Federation ship. At the same moment, 20 human ships appeared from behind Earth's moon. They had been hiding there, invisible to the Federation's sensors thanks to technology Minji had developed. The Federation ships were caught by surprise. They tried to turn and fight, but they were surrounded. "Fire," ordered Yoongi from his ship. The human ships fired strange weapons. They didn't shoot energy beams like Federation ships. Instead, they sent out pulses that disabled the Federation ship's systems. "Their weapons and engines are down," reported Juwu, watching her screen. The Stellar Talon circled back, joining the human fleet. From the largest human ship, Do-eun sent a message. It worked. They never expected humans to have spaceships. Admiral Kyungwon's angry face appeared on their screen. "This is an act of war against the Galactic Federation. You will all be executed for this." Commander Yumi's face replaced the Admiral's. "No, Admiral. This is a negotiation. You will take a message back to your leaders. Earth is no longer under quarantine. We claim our right to join the galactic community." "The Federation will never allow it," said the Admiral's voice. "They don't have a choice," said Minji, joining Yumi on the screen. "We've been monitoring your transmissions for decades. We know the Federation is divided. Many worlds will support us." The human ships surrounded the disabled Federation vessels. "You can leave with your ships and crew," said Yoongi. "But Admiral Kyungwon stays with us as our guest, and you will take our ambassadors back with you." 2 days later, the Stellar Talon prepared to leave Earth. Most of the Federation ships had gone, carrying human ambassadors and a warning. Earth would not be contained any longer. Captain Tae-yeon stood with Commander Yumi and Dr. Minji, watching the sun rise over the blue planet. "What will you do now?" asked Minji. "I can't go back to the Federation," said Tae-yeon. "None of us can." "Stay here," offered Yoongi. "We could use experienced space travelers." Tae-yeon looked at his crew. They nodded in agreement. "We accept," said Tae-yeon. "Besides, I think humans and hunting go well together." Minji smiled. "Just remember, Captain, on Earth, sometimes the hunter becomes the teacher." As they boarded the ship, Tae-yeon looked back at the planet that had changed everything. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had joined the stars.